Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let's talk about activity sludge systems which are also aimed at the removal of nitrogen. So as we discussed in our previous lessons, there are so many different wastewater treatment systems and especially activity sludge systems which can have so many different goals and aims. This one is about the removal of nitrogen as well, along with the removal of obviously organic matter and so many other pollutants. So to achieve this goal, so many different modifications can be introduced in the reactors so that nitrogen is removed. Now in the activity sludge system, there is a process going on which is called nitrification, which is basically the conversion of ammonia to nitrate. However, nitrate remains there and these are not released in the environment, nor they are converted to nitrogen automatically. They remain there in the reactor. So all the ammonia is removed, but nitrogen is there in the form of nitrates. So we have to remove that as well. So how it is achieved? Basically it is achieved in the absence of oxygen in anaerobic conditions. There are certain bacteria which can use these nitrates as oxygen in the place of oxygen for respiration, and therefore nitrates can be converted to nitrogen, which is then released in the environment, in the atmosphere. So a group of bacteria uses the nitrates in the respiration process, converting them to nitrogen gas. The process is called denitrification. So अमूमन क्या हो रही है इन रिएक्टर्स में, निट्रिफिकेशन हो रही है, विच इज़ कन्वर्जन ऑफ अमोनिया टू नाइट्रेट्स. लेकिन हम ऐसे बैक्टीरिया ग्रो कर सकते हैं बाय प्रोवाइडिंग सुटेबल कंडीशंस. वो बैक्टीरिया जो कि डीनिट्रिफिकेशन कर सकते हैं, दे यूज नाइट्रेट्स फॉर द रेस्पिरेशन एंड इन डूइंग सो दे प्रोड्यूस नाइट्रोजन गैस विच इज़ देन रिलीज इन द एटमोसफेयर. सो दैट्स हाउ वी कैन remove nitrogen from the wastewater. So we have to introduce certain conditions in the reactor कि ये वाले बैक्टीरिया ग्रो कर सके वहाँ पे. ऑब्वियसली जो प्राइमरी है कंडीशन जो रिक्वायर्ड है वो एनारोबिक कंडीशंस हैं. सो ऐसे सिस्टम्स, ऐसे एक्टिविटी स्लज सिस्टम्स जहाँ पे निट्रिफिकेशन हो रही है, नेचुरली हो रही है, sometimes we intentionally introduce the bacteria and the conditions which can lead to denitrification. This can be done to achieve so many different goals. For example, savings in oxygen. अगर हम ऐसे कंडीशन प्रोवाइड कर दें कि डीनिट्रिफिकेशन होनी शुरू आ जाए, अगेन सिर्फ उन सिस्टम्स में जिनमें निट्रिफिकेशन हो रही है. सो अगर हम ऐसी कंडीशन प्रोवाइड करें दैट कैन फेवर डीनिट्रिफिकेशन, इट कैन सेव सो मच कॉस्ट ऑन द ऑक्सीजन. वाई सो? बिकॉज during denitrification, the bacteria are not using oxygen, they are using nitrates. So we do not need to provide any oxygen. So anaerobic processes operate, and many anaerobic bacteria obviously are known and are used to stabilize BOD as well. So we can therefore save oxygen. Another intention could be to save the alkalinity of the reaction mixture in the reactor. How it happens? During nitrification, hydrogen ions are generated which can lead to the decrease in pH. Obviously acidic pH हो जाएगी alkaline से. So अगर opposite चले nitrification का, तो that will be completely opposite. That will actually consume these ions. So the pH would return back to alkaline nature. So buffering capacity, artificial buffering capacity can be generated in doing so by introducing the conditions that can favor denitrification. The another intention to introduce denitrification in the system could be the operation of the secondary sedimentation tank. Means that what problems we can face while operating the secondary sedimentation tank. For example, if nitrogenous substances are not completely removed before the liquid reaches the sedimentation tank, and if denitrification occurs in the secondary sedimentation tank, उससे क्या होगा? ऑब्वियसली नाइट्रोजन बबल्स रिलीज होंगे, एंड इफ दीज बबल्स आर रिलीज दे विल इवॉल्व टू द अपर सरफेस ऑफ द लिक्विड लेयर. उससे क्या होगा? द बायोमास विच हैज सेटल डाउन वो भी साथ अपर फेस में आ सकता है, और अपर फेस चूँकि इफ्लुएंट फेस है, ट्रीटेड वेस्ट वाटर है, जब वो रिलीज होगा एनवायरनमेंट में, दिस बायोमास कैन आल्सो बी रिलीज इन द एनवायरनमेंट. सो द जनरेशन ऑफ नाइट्रोजन बबल्स ड्यू टू डीनिट्रिफिकेशन इन द सेकेंडरी टैंक can disturb the settled down biomass, and therefore the biomass can be released unintentionally in the environment, which is not good obviously. So to make sure that the biomass remains settled in the secondary tank, there should be no denitrification going on in the secondary tank. So that's why we want to introduce the conditions of denitrification before the liquid reaches the sedimentation tank, secondary sedimentation tank. Another intention could be to decrease the nutrient content of the wastewater, to decrease the organic content, obviously. Why so? Because if we do not do that, it can result to eutrophication of the receiving body in the environment. The reduction of the nitrogen levels is important when the effluent is discharged into sensitive water bodies that are subjected to eutrophication. If that happens, the condition of the receiving body can deteriorate as well. So these are some of the intentions by which denitrification can intentionally be introduced in the activity sludge system. So this was about some of the strategies how nitrogen can be removed from the wastewater by using activity sludge systems. I will see you in next lesson.